Yo, 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 what it is, what it do, what it be. Welcome once again into the I Am the Possible podcast experience. Yes, this is the place where possibilities become perspective. Guys, welcome into the space and into the place. I is your host, Travell C. W. Lynch, Mr. What, and I am here to give you perspectives on life that give life to what is possible in life. Now, guys, today I want to begin to address issues, challenges, problems, whatever you name it, however you frame it, from the position of helping to close the gap between what you know is possible and what you're actually living. Because I'm starting to see that that is the biggest gap in the faith community. I've learned this. I've read this. I've prayed this. I've seen this. But somehow, some way, I'm not living it. I know that it's possible because the Bible says it is. I know it's possible because maybe even God has spoken some things to me. I know it's possible because I see other people doing it. But when it comes to me, there's something that keeps getting in the way. There's a gap. There's something that continues to keep me on the side of knowledge, knowing, learning, being inspired. And then I never get on the side of consistent experience. Maybe one off, maybe, one time here, one time there. But I'm talking about that daily walking in what we would know and say is my reality, my new norm. So today, if you're someone who is, as I call it, faith informed, you have a faith in something and you really, really, really believe that that thing is possible, but you're struggling internally. There's a conflict, there's turmoil, there's suffering. Maybe you're anxious, maybe you're angry, right? Maybe you're depressed, maybe you're down and you're losing hope. And you're like, yo, man, what is it that is keeping me from moving forward? Today, I want to address that. And I want to begin to continue to address that on each and every episode that we do here in the I Am the Possible universe. So let's jump right into it. Today, guys, I want to talk about a superpower. Now, by definition, power is the ability to move something from where it is to where you want it to be, or from here to there. So if we're talking about closing a gap between what you've learned is possible and what you're actually living, you're going to need power. Many people talk about power. Many people call many things powerful. All fine and well. I'm sure there are. Today, I'm going to talk about something from a personal experience. And I just hope and pray that you can gain value from it, wisdom from it, insight from it. And of course, I'm going to end with a call to action, a practice, something that you can do in your life on a daily basis to begin to see this thing work in your life. All right. It's called gratitude. All right. I'm gonna let the cat out the bag right off the jump, right off the rip, as we say, right? Gratitude. Gratitude is a superpower. Now, I didn't know how powerful gratitude was until this year. This year, I turned 49, a few days ago, actually. And as my birthday was approaching, you know how you start to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? How do I want to celebrate it? I couldn't come up with anything. I couldn't muster up. I couldn't conjure up. I couldn't manufacture a desire, a want, a need. I couldn't find it. And at first I was a little frustrated. Hey, you wait all year. It's your birthday. This is my inner dialogue. You look forward to this. This is your special day. In fact, I share my birthday with my father as well, my biological father. And so it's supposed to be, right? According to tradition, according to the norm, according to culture, This is supposed to be your personal Super Bowl. So why is it that I can't come up with anything? And at first, I was kind of taken aback, like, man, I don't want for anything. Is this birthday about to just pass me by? Am I about to have a birthday and like don't turn up, as we say, right? Like I'm not going to do anything. It's just going to be another day on the calendar. Like really, that's what's about to happen. That's where I was. Okay, stick with me. I'm going somewhere with this. But then on one of my morning walk and talks with God, as I go each day, I go down to a particular area and I walk, I talk with God, and I realized this is a gift. This is a powerful gift because I was initially short-sighted. I was blind or blinded by the obsession to go with what's considered normal or what is supposed to happen, air quotes, right? It's your birthday. You're supposed to turn up. You're supposed to go on that big trip. You're supposed to buy that big thing. You're supposed to be showered with this. You're supposed to be. No, we make up the rules. We make up the rules. And what I was learning in that moment as I was walking and talking, and it was being revealed to me what a precious gift this was. My inability to come up with a laundry list of things that I wanted. In fact, there was no list. My wife even asked me, honey, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want to do? And I literally had to text her back because she was at work, and she texted me, and I literally said, give me some time to think about this because I'm really content. And I didn't pick up on it at that moment, but later on this walk, it was revealed to me, you're in a power play right now. This is a power move. This is a powerful position for you to be in. This is a gift of God. Gratitude, thanksgiving, contentment. The fact that you want for nothing, that you need for nothing. That's a powerful position. And here's why it's powerful. And this is how it relates to closing the gap between what you've learned is possible, what you know is possible, and getting to the things that you where you actually live it. Gratitude eliminates the things that normally get in your way to crossing over from what you've learned is true and what you're actually living. See, normally you learn, oh, there's, I don't know, let's just say, for example, I'm throwing something out there. Oh, it's possible for you to live financially, give you something that you can relate to. You can live financially, right, above your means. You can be rich, you can be wealthy, but you can certainly live above your means. Maybe you're in a position right now to where you're struggling financially and you want to go from what you've learned, it's possible for you to have more, to actually having more. Well, this thing about gratitude is it eliminates manipulation, control, temptation. Those are three things that often get in our way. We're often controlled subconsciously by things in our environment, our culture. We don't even recognize it, but we're being controlled like a computer. Someone's putting in these little programs. They're putting in these little keystrokes into our subconscious, and they're controlling us from the inside out. We don't even recognize that we're being controlled. Maybe it's the media, maybe it's the news, maybe it's the advertisers, maybe it's the marketers. But you may be doing some things. There may be some habits in your life, right? Keeping it on the financial track. Maybe there's some overspending. Maybe there's some budget issues. Maybe there's some things that you're being controlled and manipulated to do that had you not, or if you're not being controlled and not being manipulated by those things, you would be able to, whatever, save enough, invest enough, be focused enough to look for a better job, to put together your resume, to go back to school, to get a better education so that you can get a better job. Whatever it is, you name it, you frame it, you put it into your context. But here's what I want you to understand is that when you are in a state of gratitude, it lends to your ability to not be controlled by things. And I'm going to share with you what gratitude is and why this is. The other thing is manipulation. Many times when you're being manipulated by the powers that be, by other people in your life, in your environment, right? You're connected somehow to people. Maybe they're in your family, on your job, heck, at your church, that either they know it or don't know it, but they're manipulating you. They're using fear tactics. They're using leverage plays. They're guilt tripping you into different things, but they're manipulating you from an emotional perspective. And when you are full of gratitude, when you are in a state of gratitude, needing for nothing, wanting for nothing, and I'm gonna connect the dots in just a moment, then you're not as easily manipulated because you're not on the hunt. Lastly, this idea of being tempted. You're not as tempted with things, those little carrots that they dangle in front of you, the next shiny little toy. You're not always chasing the carrot. You're not always obsessing over the next new shiny thing. Because when you are full of gratitude, when you are in a state of gratitude, you are so focused. And remember, whatever you focus on grows and multiplies, right? Just like a magnifying glass, when you magnify something, it gets larger in your view. The only view that matters is yours, right? And so gratitude is a state of focus on the good that already is. And I'm going to be sharing with you in just a moment how to get to this state of gratitude. But let's go ahead and transition over. If you're watching on the tube, and you should be watching on the tube, and if you're not watching on the tube, get over there, get over to YouTube, type in I am the possible, IamThePossible, and find me and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so that you can see the video version of what you're currently listening to. And you can see the graphics, the things that I'm actually showing as well, right? Whole experience. So let me get over here, man. Let me share my screen. Share this with y'all, man. Boom, to see. Check it out. Check it out. All right. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. True gratitude. Check this out. True gratitude is a deep state. Okay, it's a state, it's a residence, it's a place. Gratitude is a house, it's a home, it's a place where you are internally. That's important to understand. Gratitude is not just some fancy feeling or some feel good tingly feeling over your body. Gratitude is a freaking space. It's a place. It's a residence internally that you are now positioned. You are in position, right? Just like a state, the state of California, the state of whatever, you can literally move into, make your home in gratitude. Okay. I want you to think of it that way. It's a deep state of appreciation. What is appreciation? It's to see the value of something, to see the good in something, to see the worthiness, the worthwhileness of something. So it's the state of appreciation and the mindset. All right. I bolded that word, set, meaning it's fixed. Your mind is fixed on what? On recognizing goodness and value in life, moving beyond simple thank yous to an intentional posture. See, this is about you being conscious, intentional, on purpose, about moving into the state called gratitude. It's a posture, right? Just like when you pray, there's a prayer posture. It is how you are physically, emotionally, spiritually, internally. It's a posture of recognizing gifts from external sources. Now, I think that definition, right, Mr. Google, right, because that's where this is being pulled from, Mr. Google, that's a limited scope. I don't believe it has to be external sources, right? But for the sake of reading this, is just recognizing the gifts from external sources. I believe it could be other sources, right? Internal as well. But it invokes, here's the most important part. It invokes, or I'm sorry, not invokes. Well, it does invoke that as well, but it involves, okay? Acknowledging positive experiences, fostering connection, and sustaining an attitude of thankful awareness, even amidst challenges. AKA, your eyes, I'm gonna get into this in just a moment, your physical eyes, as well as your inner eyes, right? Your inner eye is nothing spooky, right? Don't trip out. But the inner eye is just you being able to interpret things, you being able um to have that inner dialogue, to have that inner acknowledgement of something, right? In internal, unseen. Okay. So let me go ahead and stop sharing. And I'm gonna get back to my screen over here, make sure that we are good to go on the screen before I continue on. Okay, cool. So, guys, when you are in a state of gratitude and you're focusing on the good and you're focusing on the value, you're not so easily controlled, because control has to do with, I have something you want and need, so I'm going to hold on to it. And until you do what I want you to do, you're not going to get it. Manipulation has a lot to do with that as well. There's something you desire, something you want, something you're hungry for, thirsting for. Well, if you don't do my bidding, if you don't do it the way I want you to, if you don't brown nose, if you don't kiss butt, if you don't do this, do that, or it's you're emotionally right at a space or a place in your own personal life and someone has bad intentions for you and they begin to share things with you or say things to you or do things to you that just cause you to get wrapped up in things that have nothing to do with the goal, with you crossing the bridge from what you've learned is possible to actually seeing it happen in your life. And then thirdly, this idea of temptation. People aren't able to tempt you. Life isn't able to tempt you. Because again, when you are in a state of gratitude, you are in a state of acknowledgement, appreciation for what is, how it is, why it is. And I guess the simplest way I can place this or to put this is that there is so much more to see and to acknowledge than we often give ourselves permission to be engaged with. So let me share this real quick story. I was on my walk the other day. This was a separate walk. And I'm walking and I got my headphones in and I'm listening to some meditation music. I'm praying. I'm doing my thing. I'm feeling real good. I think I'm doing a great thing, right? Great job. I'm out there, getting my meditation on, get my prayer on, get my walk on. And I was, right? There was nothing wrong with what I was doing. Yet in the midst of that walk, my soul, it was like God spoke, spirit spoke, my soul spoke. Like, yo, man, take them headphones out. Listen to the sounds of life. I even posted a couple of clips on Facebook and Instagram, maybe TikTok. But in that moment, it was like, yo, man, listen to life. Listen to life. This was a separate thing from the gratitude that I experienced, the gift of God of not needing, not wanting. But it was like, listen to life. And as I took the headphones off and as I began to just stand there in the midst of the park, I began to notice the sun rising and how beautiful it was. I took a picture of it. I began to look up in the sky and I began to notice these clouds and the way that they were formed. And I took a picture of it. I sat on a little bench and I began to listen to the sounds, the birds that were chirping, the little chipmunks that were running across the field, other unseen bugs and insects that were chirping and making little sounds, the sound of people's feet walking by, cars in the distance. And I began to say to myself, life has its own sound, a sound that we rarely get to hear because our ears are normally plugged with, and I'm putting up air quotes again, because you name it, you frame it, you put it into your context. Our ears are normally plugged with the headphones of life. Or should I say, not of life organically, but of the life that we've created. Because we want to listen to the artist, the singer, the rapper. We want to listen to the sounds that we've created and manufactured in a studio. Or we're listening to a podcast. Or we're listening to somebody preach. Or we're listening to an audiobook. But we're always plugged into some electronic. We're always plugged into something that's premeditated, pre-conditioned, curated. Something that's been manufactured, and we wake up and we plug into that matrix, right? And we walk right past that sunrise, right past that beautiful sky full of these beautiful cloud shapes. We walk right past and never listen to the sounds of life. Why is this important? How does this all tie together? Gratitude is about appreciating the abundance that's already there, that's already available. When you start to be still, you start to see like you've never seen before. Most of us are so busy trying to go from where we are to where we think we should be that we never give ourselves time to wait, to be still, in order to see how big and beautiful and bountiful our lives are. With all due respect to he or she who is listening, where you are caught up in a situation where life sucks, like you're in a situation where it's rough. With all due respect to you, because I've been in some rough spaces and places. I've been on some hard times. If that's where you are, you may need professional help. You may need other things. But take from what I'm saying as best you can. Because most of us are not on the edge of the edge. Most of us are just not content. We're just not happy. There's this lack of life. There's this lack of zeal and passion. There's this lack of progress. There's this disconnect between what we know God has made possible and what we're actually living. It's not like the world is coming to an end, but internally we're wrestling with, man, why can't I bridge the gap? How come I can't see this thing come alive in my own personal life? And what I'm telling you is that those things will begin to manifest. Those things will begin to come into your life more easily. You'll begin to create the bridge. You'll begin to cross over the bridge. The more you avoid, and in many ways overcome, conquer, defeat, however you want to say it, the control, the manipulation, and the temptation that often fly under the radar that continues to knock you off course. If you start out the gate running down the street at a certain pace, and then a big semi truck just comes sliding in front of you, what's going to happen? You're going to stop. And then you're going to get caught up in your emotions. Man, why you pull up in front of me? You're going to get caught up in the fact that now you have to either wait for the semi truck to pass by, so that's holding you up, or you're going to get into an argument with the driver, that's holding you up. or you're going to just walk around it. Now that's a detour. That's delaying your progress. Well, control, manipulation, temptation, those things that we rarely acknowledge that are happening and we're not conscious of because we're not still enough. We're on the hustle, we're on the grind, and we're failing to see and recognize how we're being controlled, how we're being manipulated. We're failing to acknowledge how we're being tempted and taken off course. And then what's worse is we experience the controlling, we experience the manipulation, we experience the temptation, and not only do we have to deal with those things in and of themselves that stunt our growth, that prevent our progress, but then we have to deal with the emotional toil that comes from seeing it, after the fact, and now having to wrestle with, oh man, look at me. Oh man, I should have. Oh man, how come they? All of that junk. And see how that continues to keep you on the side of knowing, learning about, hearing about, knowing that it's possible, but never experiencing it. With gratitude, with stillness, and that's going to be your call to action, your stillness, you grow in your ability to see what's already there. You're going to be able to see this bountiful life. You're going to begin to appreciate things that you've never appreciated before, like the rising of the sun. And in that, you get wrapped up in God's glory and God's power, and your faith is built. You're going to be able to look at those clouds like I did and say, wow, if God could create these clouds and this beautiful backdrop called the sky, oh my God, what could God do in my life? When you begin to listen to the sounds of life and what life is saying to you, it begins to give revelations like it gave to me, how God sets everything up so perfectly systematic that everything supports everything, and how life doesn't need my help to be perfect. The trees are growing, the sun is shining, you feel me? The rain is falling, the animals are scurrying. Life is happening all around us all day long, and we're missing out on a huge part of it because we're so busy trying to cross the bridge, trying to get over from one side to the other. And in that hustle, in that grind mode, in that rush, in that anxiety to get from one side to the other, it's counterproductive. It's the very thing that's keeping us from getting over there. When you're full of gratitude and you're able to be still, not only are those revelations going to begin to come, and your faith is going to get built up, and you're going to be able to say some things and see some things and feel some things, experience some things, and move forward in some things in ways that you've never imagined. But then you're going to be able to sustain your ability to trust God's timing, to trust God's ways, to trust God's will and word for your life. You're going to begin to trust that your life is unfolding as it should, just as everything else is unfolding as it should. No one has to tell the sun when to rise. No one has to tell the moon when to come out. No one has to tell the rain when to fall. No one has to tell the grass when to grow. And if we were completely honest, we don't have to tell ourselves how to do anything either. Our life is unfolding as it should. And when we practice the art of gratitude, getting into the state of gratitude, we'll be able to say more and more, not just on our birthdays like it was for me, but we'll be able to say more and more, I need for nothing, I want for nothing. All is well, all is good. You won't be so easily controlled. You won't be so easily manipulated. You won't be so easily tempted. Because when you are good, you can say no to some things. that you've never said no to. When you're good, that manipulative voice doesn't have any power anymore. You can't manipulate me because you don't have anything I need. If I need it, if it's mine, my life will unfold in that way, and it'll be mine. It'll come to me. It'll magnetize to me. But I don't have to play your game. Temptation, I don't have to keep falling into temptation. I don't have to keep trying to regulate myself by doing things that are destructive, addictions and behavior that don't build me up or don't edify me, but tear me down and make me feel worse about myself after I've done it. I don't have to keep playing that game, because all of it is I'm trying to use something or get to something or be something or appear as something that I think that once I do, then somehow, some way it's going to get me over to the thing that I believe I need or I want. So the easiest path to going from, I've learned this in the Bible, I've learned this through the teaching and preaching of the word, I've learned this through revelation of God, I've learned these things, now I want to live these things. The fastest connecting point is gratitude. Because when you are in a position of not needing, it's magical. You start to get and attract more than you could ever imagine. Take it from me, someone who needed for nothing, wanted for nothing, and had the best birthday I've ever had. The fewest amount of gifts, yet the greatest gift. I received the gift of gratitude and a revelation of what it looked like at this stage in my life. Maybe there's more, but all I can report on is where I am today. I've not mastered it. None of us do. We're practicing. So today, I want to encourage you to practice gratitude. Here's how you're going to do it. This week, I just want you to take 5 minutes a day. Sit your butt down and just observe. Without judgment, without criticism, without naming anything, without assigning meaning to anything, without making something good or bad, without making something positive or negative, releasing and suspending all of that stuff that just murked the waters, and simply gaze, simply be still and gaze at the good, the inherent good, the inherent dignity of everything. Because everything has dignity. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a place. Everything is here for a reason. And to someone or to something, that thing is good. It's serving a purpose. And you don't have to know what the purpose is. And you don't have to try to name what the purpose is. You don't have to try to control what the purpose is. No, gratitude comes from simple stillness. It's simple because internally, your intention is to do nothing but observe. We're so hardwired to control, to manipulate, to make something, to define something. Heck, I even used a definition today. See, I'm doing it, right? We are addicted to defining and assigning meanings and making things good or bad or Republican, Democrat, right? Red side, blue side, west side, east side, right? We're always dueling, that dualistic mindset, that monkey mind as described by those in the East. It's shutting that junk off, man. And just 5 minutes a day. That's your assignment. 5 minutes a day. Still and open up your awareness to see what you've never seen before, to hear what you've never heard before, to receive what you've never received before. I promise you that state of gratitude It's going to open up doors. It's going to move you in ways that you've needed to be moved and you've never been moved. It takes all the work out of it. It takes all the grind, all the hustle, all the manipulation, all the doing. But it's letting you just breathe. Completely relax. And just gaze. Look around. And let it breathe. Let it live. Let it have its dignity, whatever it is. And then get up and go about your day. And what will happen naturally is you'll desire that space more and more, because you'll start to see the contrast between the silence and the still and the sweet sound of silence. Just the sweet sound of not having to do, control, manipulate, define, strategize, plan. But just, wow, it's already being taken care of. As you grow in your faith in what is already in all of creation, I believe the bonus for you is you're going to grow in your awareness, appreciation, trust in the already concerning you. And you're not going to have to cross the bridge. You're not going to have to fill the gap. I think that revelation is going to carry you over. I'm going to end there. Love you guys, praying for you guys, believing in you guys. Let's be still this week. Until next time, relate better to yourself, create better for yourself and those around you.
Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. For more information, visit me at IamThePossible.com.